Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is a book and review, and my name is Ava Schneider, and this is my gorgeous husband, Jack Schneider.
Hello.
And we have both been reading this book for about 5 years now. And what you may not know is that Jack and I have both been involved in network marketing for about 5 years. So I want to show you the formula that we've used. I want to show you what to expect with network marketing. I really want to introduce you to Jack, to all of the different ways that you can start to grow your network marketing business. I've made this specific for doTERRA. This is a book that is written for the entire industry of network marketing. And I've gotten some incredible statistics that I'm going to go through in the presentation. So first of all, let's move on to us. This is the photo that's pictured in the leadership magazines now. As Platinum Wellness Advocates, we were featured in every quarterly magazine, and then as we hit Diamond at the end of this year, that's the goal. We are Platinum Wellness Advocates, and we've been in love. Tomorrow will be 18 years since we met each other. So it has been an incredible journey. I remember going off to my first big event for network marketing in Vegas, and I came back and I was like, babe, this is spectacular. They actually reward people for helping each other. I said, instead of putting each other down and trying to find fault in each other. And so I thought it was a genius industry, and I poured my heart and my soul into it. And Jack, as you guys know, is more introverted, and he's been supporting me, and he's picked up so much knowledge by going to all the big events with me. So this is Eric Worre. Eric Worre has been in network marketing for almost 30 years. Actually, it's longer than that. I think it's 40 years.
Probably.
Yeah. Do you want to go through a little bit of background on Eric?
Sure. Well, he was an unsuccessful purveyor of real estate in his dad's company when he was 23 years old, and he ended up hearing a presentation about network marketing that his dad and dad's best friend were both at as well, and he couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was a video at the time, and they showed all kinds of, Lamborghinis and huge houses and all kinds of stuff, and he couldn't believe that it was real. So he basically said no. And his dad ended up saying, well, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So see you later. And his whole reason for getting involved then was to avoid being left behind while his dad went on to become successful at it. So Eric, instead of, trying to do his own thing, he actually just jumped in and started calling every one of his dad's contacts. Was able to make some connections at that time, made some money until those leads dried up, and then he was back to where he had started because he had no idea what he was doing in the network marketing field. And that is where our story begins, with him deciding at that point to become a professional in the business of network marketing itself. And so this entire book goes over how he got started, and then what he did to become successful. And that's what we're going to share with you today.
So Eric Worre said, a true entrepreneur views work as their joy, pleasure, and passion. They're always enjoying life. And I consider this to be one of the hallmark quotes, because it wasn't until I started my own business that I realized that I was a true entrepreneur at heart, and that I had so much passion, pleasure, and joy wrapped up in making money and making people successful. And it's such an easy thing to start to recognize in other people. So Eric Worre says the best project that you'll ever work on is you. So working on yourself harder than anything else, you are the only barrier to your own income. So you make the decision. We talked about our other book and review, making the first circle work, and that includes a lot of you, right? And so Eric Worre is also a big proponent on making you work first. making sure that you are the leader of your own team, that you are looking at your own network, and you're helping other people because of how successful you have been in your discipline. I always think that it's ironic that these people in their cars and their commutes think that network marketing is a waste of time. So Eric Worre has a lot of different points all throughout his book, GoPro. And this book has seen better days. I also really enjoy, and Jack has gotten a lot of use out of the CDs as well. So it's a 3 CD pack. And Eric Worre actually gives these away for free. All you've got to do is pay the shipping and handling. And I think his shipping and handling is $5.95 on his website, networkmarketingprofessional.com. So he says that network marketing isn't perfect, it's just better. So you ask people what makes the perfect career. They're going to say, I don't want a boss, I don't want to commute, I don't want to set an alarm, I don't want any office politics. And what do they feel positive about? They want to feel like they're of purpose, that they have unlimited income, someone else doesn't determine what they're worth, that there's low risk in their business, they get time freedom, they enjoy the people that they work with, they get to pick them, and they have a low startup cost. So the personal growth and the fun are also big components. It just depends on a different person, you know. All jobs fall into 5 categories though: blue collar, white collar, sales, investing, and traditional business ownership. And he walks through why all 5 of these categories will actually lead you to being a slave to your own business, okay? You're trading time for money, and you're never ever getting ahead. Even investing, you know, it takes a long time to see results. It's very risky. And in the end, all 5 of these job categories, all jobs fall into these 5 job categories, all 5 of them fail to be the perfect career. The perfect career has no boss, no commute, no alarm clock, no politics. So all 5 of these are dismal in compared to network marketing. There is a better way. And you hear Eric Worre say that again and again and again. There is a better way. So when you compare a traditional job to network marketing, what you're looking at is a boss deciding, you know, your pay, limited income. When you quit, you stop getting paid. You know, you go to the job site versus working at home. The company is your company owns you. I love that, you know. And you work 30 years to retirement. You get vacation, sick days, and you've got to schedule those. And I really love this graphic of network marketing because it actually shows people helping each other to succeed. Never seen anything like network marketing because it's all about training someone, helping someone, because if they succeed, you succeed. It's not like that in a corporate life, you know? In fact, a lot of my friends are being cut from their corporate jobs. I was at JCPenney's for a long time, and they're being ostracized right now because they have different ideas, because they don't go along with the flow. You know, they're being criticized because they, in some ways, make much more money than people coming out of college. So the company looks at them as expendable, which that's not the way it used to be. It used to be, you know, back 20, 30 years ago. I graduated 20 years ago. You graduated 20, 25, 26 years ago. And it was different. You know, company loyalty was actually appreciated. I think about in my dad's day. My dad worked for NASA for 36 years. Your dad was with Standard Oil and Gas for 38 years. Yeah. So our parents had these long-term investments. They had pensions. You know, now you get into your job, and people are always looking for the next job. My best friend has had 6 jobs in 9 years. And she said, you know, that's not a really good thing on your resume. Well, that's what everybody's resumes are looking like these days. And it's becoming very commonplace for people to hop jobs. So in network marketing, you don't have a boss, right? You decide when you get a pay increase. You have unlimited earning potentials. No one ever is going to cap you. And when you stop working, you still get paid because of all of the investment that you've put into people and increasing their intelligence, their knowledge. So personal development opportunities are abounding. I remember going to JCPenney's and going to all their seminars. I would sign up for them, you know, when they first came out online, because I couldn't get enough of all of the extra training. You know, they wanted to develop me personally. I thought that was awesome. Free training. And now, you know, what do? I watch webcasts and I read books. I go to all the events. So it's still a hunger for personal development. And I like working from home. Someone asked me my commute the other day. It was like 0.0. And you have total freedom, when you want to take vacation, when you want to pick your kids up from school, you work around your schedule. You guys have seen me carry around my planner all over the place, and that's my sanctuary. That's how I make money. That's how I schedule my time. That's how I'm productive. Is breaking my month into weeks, my weeks into days, and my days into hours. So it's a discipline, and it's definitely worth the investment. So I love that you can compress the 30 years into 3 to 5 year retirement. Let's show you how. So he says it's in his first point, he says it isn't perfect, it's just better. He says the business world has changed, and being rewarded for company loyalty and hard work is just a myth. The world is now a performance economy. So lower salaries with performance incentives. So what they do is they cut the salaries, right? The companies win either way, because if you don't hit the goal, they don't have to pay you. Or if you do hit the goal, then they go, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. And then the next time they are up for review, they raise the goal. So you're never in control of your own goals. So, and then even if you look at waiters and waitresses, what do? They're paid on performance. They're paid on tips. Their income is streamed. I think they're getting paid $2.56 an hour, and then they make tips on top. So you're seeing more and more people, more and more companies, even large companies like Google and Amazon and Apple, going toward this performance economy. And network marketing fits the new economy. Companies provide corporate support. So doTERRA, our company provides corporate support, and they pay people on purely performance basis to promote their products. So they have no liability. We're all paid on 1099s, right? And then you're paid purely on your performance, not someone else's. So what's the catch? What's the catch to having no boss, to having zero commute? And I love that he puts this right out there at the very beginning. Okay, he says, we must accept a temporary loss of social esteem from closed-minded people. You must embrace this. Eric Worre says you must accept a temporary loss of personal social esteem from closed-minded people. And once I heard that, that changed me, that rocked me, because I realized that I was depending upon someone giving me approval when they're too closed-minded to even look. They say no before they even know what it is. And those are the people that I've cut out of my life, closed-minded people. So it's very telling. Okay, the number 2 point from Eric Worre is to decide you're going to practice. Decide you're going to go pro. The 3 categories of people in network marketing are posers, amateurs, and professionals. Okay, and we all start out at differing points. We all start out at differing points, right? So some of us come in and we're amateurs. We don't even go past the poser role. A poser is someone who is hoping to get by with as little effort as possible. They have class, they quit, they give out a sample, they don't check on them, they won't commit to growth, And I hear this all the time. I don't have time. I'm like, that's exactly what you're going to get for the rest of your life. I don't have time. And that's what the world is giving you back. They're giving you back all this busyness because you haven't created time for growth. You haven't created time for this. So when you move to an amateur status from a poser status, right? You think that luck, timing, shortcuts will work. You have a few classes. You don't set up membership overviews. You give out a few samples. You never ask people what else they need. You might commit to growth if they get something for it. I've seen this. I've seen people come and go, from our spot, and it is quite telling when I see someone and I wonder if they're going to make that leap, if they're really going to invest in themselves. I really hope that this class specifically brings people to an awakening where they actually look in the mirror and they decide, am I going to be a professional, or am I going to keep hacking away at this as an amateur level? And you'll know it because you feel it. It doesn't feel fun when you're an amateur or a poser. It feels like, work. So professionals, they commit to focusing on skills and making a commitment to practice consistently. So it's a choice. Are you going to be an amateur or are you going to be a professional? It is a choice. So you decide. If you decide to become a professional, network marketing can only be learned by doing. I love this part.
Yeah. Yeah. So he mentions a couple of examples where the first one is a professional athlete who might decide to get involved in the business. There are many, many, many people that you'll meet who have some kind of famous athlete who signed up underneath them or next to them. And he explains how they will devote all this time in their whole lives to becoming the best athlete they can. But when they decide to become a network marketer, they will barely give themselves any chance to learn anything new, to learn the products, to be able to share what they should be able to share. And so a lot of times they will end up feeling like they fail because they didn't actually devote any time or knowledge or effort to learning the products, learning the business, any of that stuff. And the same thing, he really goes into depth with doctors about how they spend so much time, money, effort going to school, but as they sign up to become a network marketer, they barely will give themselves even a month of learning products, learning the business, and they will inevitably give up because they are not successful, because they're essentially what he's talked about previously, amateurs.
Mm-hmm. So if you decide to go pro, the business will be great, and if you stay a poser and an amateur, it's going to be miserable and painful.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, and I love that because when you were talking with me about this book, I realized that there's so many times that I see it. You know, people they won't even pick up a book. You know, they'll have a class and then they'll walk, and they haven't learned anything. They haven't committed to any skills at all. You know, and that just keeps them in the amateur poser category, whether they're going to invest in themselves.
There's a lot of people who will get into this business and not be successful, and then they leave the business, and sometimes they'll even badmouth the business, or you'll know them and you'll say, oh, my friend tried this business and they failed completely at it. Well, you know, a lot of times it's because they didn't even give themselves a chance, much less, you know, give anyone on their team a chance. So it's really great that this book breaks down the absolute line in the sand where you have to decide, am I really going to do this or am I not going to do it? Mm-hmm. Because the results will be clear pretty quickly if you don't commit to doing it on a professional basis.
Agreed. Oh, I love this one. Okay, so deciding to become a professional, anything worthwhile takes time. And just like a traditional business, success takes time, effort, luck, focus, personal development. This takes time. And when you explain this to me, this really rocked me.
Yeah, so basically his point here is that you are going to need time, and as you can see on the slide, 1 year to become competent and profitable in network marketing. So you have to start somewhere, right? And if you give yourself a year of consistent part-time effort, you will become profitable in network marketing. That's his formula. That's the first part of his formula. The next part builds on that. 3 years of part-time effort to go full-time to where you can quit your JOB and actually go full-time, making enough money to support yourself and your family. The next one is probably the most exciting one, 5 years of consistent effort to become a six-figure earner or above. At that point, you have completely replaced whatever you were making before, and now you're at the point where you can see that there is an unlimited ceiling to what you can earn. And then finally, 7 years to become an expert. He actually references back Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours and explains to you, why becoming an expert is basically going to guarantee you a lifetime of residual, unending income. And that's exactly where we're trying to get ourselves, and we hope that you guys will join us.
So in this world, you're either growing or dying. So get in motion and grow. That's Lou Holtz, and he's one of Eric Worre's mentors, and he quotes him in the book. So I wanted you guys to see some statistics here. I know. When you talk about big business, like the NFL is $10 billion industry, okay? Music industry is $15 billion. Movie industry is $88 billion. Video games, $76 billion. Then you go to natural foods. Natural food industry is $90 billion. Then you go to network marketing at $178 billion. It is 18 times larger than the NFL as far as an industry. There's 3 mega trends going on right now. One is network marketing. Okay, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it continues to grow every single year. Online marketing is really, really a trend right now. We're seeing that over the last 8 to 10 years really skyrocket and take off, especially when you see retail shops closing down. You know, they're closing down JCPenney's, Kohl's, Payless Shoes. You know, they're closing down these retail outlets because people are going online. And then the third mega trend is wellness. Today, more than ever, health is compromised because people don't have a healthy diet. They don't have proper hydration, enough exercise, have lots of stress, and don't sleep enough. So they want to be healthy, and they turn to wellness. Hello, ding, ding. I'd rather have an oil that helps me immediately. Network marketing, if you look in the center here, it creates more millionaires than any other industry. So more than the NFL, of course, more than movies and more than music ever would. And Bill Gates is actually quoted to say that if he was given a second chance, he would just start all over again. He would choose network marketing. And then Warren Buffett is also the same caliber. Well, Warren Buffett is one of the big backers in 3 different network marketing companies. One of the wealthiest men in the world. And then Stephen Covey says that network marketing has come of age. It's undeniable that it has become a way of entrepreneurship independence for millions of people. It's only getting bigger. Okay, so this is going to blow your mind. Okay, 82% of women in the United States that make 6 figures a year, over $100,000, do it in a home-based business. That means that only 18% of women in the United States do it with a corporate job. 82% of women or entrepreneurs, you know, even 18% of them. But 82% of women in the United States making 6 figures, they do it with a home-based business. And it's because I think they know the market so well. Women account for 85% of consumer purchases. That's $5 trillion annually. That's over half the GDP. And then women also make 80% of the healthcare decisions. They account for 80 cents on the dollar for every dollar spent in a drugstore. 44% are the primary breadwinners in their household. So that has rudely changed from where we were when our parents were growing up, you know, when we were growing up. So here, it's just a general overview, and I love the diamond on her shirt because she's breaking out, baby, that so many women are doing it for themselves. You know, they're taking it upon themselves to actually to put their mouth where their money is. You know, they're making the buying decisions, and if they have a home-based business, it's the most likely of all spaces to actually hit a 6-figure income. I like that percentage, 82%.
It's huge.
Mm-hmm. So if you're going to decide to become a network marketing professional, you're going to get involved, and it's best to be professional, right? So decide you're going to take full responsibility for your business. You don't blame anyone or anything else for your lack of results. So people love to blame their upline, their front line, their downline, anybody else. You know, this person didn't meet this and this person didn't. It's all you. It all has to do with you. So you can tell your upline, thanks for the opportunity, and I will use it as a resource, but I'll never use it as an excuse. It begins and it ends with me. And I think I said that to Nick pretty close into it. I said, will you teach my classes? Will you teach my classes? And then I was like, I'm good. We're going to be good. And he really did put a lot into our team and help us a lot. And he still does. I never would use him as an excuse. It's a joy to work with our upline. I choose for us to be the same. So if you're going to decide to become a professional, Unlike most professions, you won't need a lot of money for your education. If you think about what a doctor has to put into his education and the student loans they have to take out, you know, it's wise to budget for the doTERRA, the Salt Lake City convention that happens every September. It's wise to budget for the regional summits. And I would encourage you to go to the network marketing training, the GoPro in Vegas. That changed us. We went in December.
It was huge. We went and saw Eric Worre to speak live, and it was just amazing to get that feel for the industry, and it motivated us beyond anything we had ever seen before. So we came back, we were on fire, and our business has blown up since we got back. So we're pretty excited about it.
I know. We're testimonies to how much Eric Worre has made a mark on us. It has to do, though, with putting it into action.
Yes.
You know? So there's three primary elements to building your doTERRA business. And some of you have heard me speak about this. It's knowing the product, studying the books, right? That I talk about it as a three-legged stool. And it's studying the products, reading the blogs, attending classes, starting to really know that. I held up this book all the time, and I said, if you knew this book, you know, backwards and forwards, you know, and I told you if you could just study this in 10 years you'd be a millionaire, would you do it? I told that to somebody the other day. They were like, heck yeah, buy myself a $25 book. The second leg part of that is knowing the compensation plan, and that has a lot to do with knowing the company, where the company is founded. In Pleasant Grove, Utah. They have 7 main owners, and they're a zero debt company. The ownership has not changed from the very beginning. And then knowing how the compensation plan, know how you get paid. So knowing the fast start bonus, knowing the retail the retail commissions, knowing the power of 3 bonus, and then knowing our unilevel commissions, and then leadership rules. So all of those ways that we get paid, you need to understand that. We have several classes out there right now on explaining doTERRA's compensation plan. And then the third variable, and this is the third element, that the only variable in this, because the products don't change, the compensation doesn't change for every single person involved in doTERRA. The only thing that varies is you. It's your commitment to learning skills, and it's your difference between your success and your failure. You know, it's being constantly coachable and understanding that it is a 1-year, 3-year, 5-year, 7-year journey. If you're committed to that, because you think about it, what else are you going to do? You're going to sit at your desk, you're going to sit at your cube, you're going to sit in traffic. You know? How about use this in traffic? Drive time university. Turn your car into a university right there. So here are the 7 professional skills that Eric Worre drives home. And this is the bulk of the book. And it starts with learning how to find interested people, learning how to invite people and to understanding what doTERRA can bring to them, learning how to teach about doTERRA's benefits, health and financial benefits, learning how to follow up with your people, learning how to help your people become customers and advocates, learning how to coach your customers and advocates, and learning how to promote classes and events. So those 7 pro skills are what we're about to go through. All right, skill number 1, learning how to find interested people. So 80% of people that join network marketing approach as a poser. They make a mental list of about 3 to 5 people. What is that? You need to train people not to be posers. Amateurs will make a list of about 50 people, but they'll burn through it without the skill. You need to train people to be a pro. And professionals do 2 things.
They treat finding people as a skill, and that becomes their active contact list. So they are able to, in their everyday life, they're able to meet people and actually engage those people in a way that is non-threatening, but gives them the ability to follow up at another time. So you establish a relationship with that person, you establish a friendship if at all possible, and that gives you the capability to contact them without being pushy or salesy, allowing them to, in a relaxed manner, actually hear what you're saying rather than put their wall up immediately and say, oh, this person's trying to approach me about sales or about joining their company or whatever it is. If you're able to discuss with them as a friend or as with an actual relationship, it's much easier to share what you have to say. So that's really, really important. And that becomes, as he mentions here, your active contact list. So you will have your initial group of people that you want to contact, but as you're going through your everyday life, you're meeting more and more people that then become a new list for you to keep contacting, following up with. So there's always people, in the hopper, people that you can call upon if necessary. And his theory is that if you add 2 new contacts a day, you're putting people into this list, and you're able to then replenish that list on a regular basis. He actually says here to develop a higher level of awareness and pay attention to the world around you. It's very, very basic, but a lot of us choose not to do it. We would rather avoid eye contact with people or contacting people. But in reality, you're networking on purpose is a great line that he mentions here. So you're not pushing people, you're not selling people, you're just getting to know people. It's hard to meet new people if you're hiding from the world, so be a pro. The second thing is to make that comprehensive list. You don't pre-qualify people. You make that huge list, as many people as you can think of, and then you go on to look at those people's contacts. And you're constantly expanding the circle of people that you know that you can draw upon, whereas posers and amateurs, they will exhaust their initial list and then they feel like they're stuck. They say, oh, I can't meet new people, I can't contact anyone else, I've called everybody on my list, oh my gosh, no one wants to do it. In reality, those people are pulling away or hiding from meeting new people, so that skill is a huge one to acquire. And it's as simple as just saying hi to someone when you're in line somewhere, or asking someone about, something that you see that maybe they have an ankle wrapped or something like that. If you just say, hey, wow, that looks painful. How did that happen? And they'll say, they'll give you the story. And then of course, specifically to our business, we have products that can help address whatever they're going to come up with. So it's a really great way to get the contact established and get them, knowledgeable about maybe what you're providing for. So Facebook list, of course. Again, that's just more things. Again, just add to that list, expand that list. Never let your list shrink to the point where you feel like you've exhausted it. Always keep expanding it. 2 new contacts a day.
I looked around the room. We had a team meeting the other day. I looked around the room and I realized that there were 2 people in that room that I knew before doTERRA. Only 2 people in that room I knew before doTERRA. Most of them I had met along the way, and they were friends of friends of friends of friends of friends.
It's very easy. It's easy in this business to do that if you're intentional about it, which obviously Ava is fantastic at doing that. And the other thing is, if you're allowing yourself to talk openly with those people and listen to what they're saying, then you have a much greater chance of getting to know them, and then subsequently their friends and those friends' friends.
I agree. And Facebook, Facebook is really easy to look at and say, because people post all about their health stuff.
Yeah.
My daughter just broke her leg. I've got this massive migraine. I can't get out of the closet. We've had this flu bug that's really attacked our family, and my parents are really
hear about it all the time. People constantly post about what's going on with them. And with the Facebook and any other social media thing, you want to make sure that you're not pushing past the people to get to someone they know. You still want to do it in a very natural way that is non-threatening. that's what this business is all about, is just getting to know people, and then, showing them why you might have something that they can use.
So that was finding. Now we're going to go to inviting. And Eric Worre spends about 14% of this entire book talking about inviting, okay? And he says it's the most critical skill to develop. You're learning how to invite people to understand what doTERRA can bring them. So the best aren't hunters. They don't try to bag people. They're farmers. They want to educate people on what doTERRA can do for them and let them decide. I don't mind to drop off a diffuser for a sick friend. I think it's a being of purpose. Being in a service role. And I'm not expecting them to join. I'm expecting them to get well. And then if it works for them, I really want to show them the technology and talk with them and help them to understand what's happening when they clean the air. So building a relationship and offering common sense solutions to their problems. So I love to ask, what's happening in your body. I do this for a living, so it comes really natural to me. I can't say it's actually, it's a skill that I've cultivated. It's just natural now, So and I've asked people, is there anything that you're looking to change? Is there anything that you want to change? And people, come all the time. I want to get off my medicines. I'm sick of going to the pharmacy. And then, I always ask people, what's their biggest health concern right now? Oh, nothing. Really, you're not on any medications? And then they start listing out all their medications because they've been so medicated for so long that they don't even think that things are wrong with them, just because they're masking over those symptoms. So professionals do two things. Number one, they invite people to try a sample, read a magazine, read a brochure. We call these tools. And the second thing they do is they invite people to come to a class or meet them one-on-one. So you can in classes in person, right? People have classes all the time. And then you can also use our Facebook group. Our Facebook group has all these online classes. So inviting them into our Facebook group, tagging them in the class, and asking them when they can watch the class. So these are tools, and most of you guys have heard me talk about tools before. I love those little diffusers. I use mine all the time by my desk, and this is a great one to drop off for people to try with the products. And then if they enroll, they can keep their diffuser. It's fine with me. I love to drop off little brochures, and I'll write little notes in the brochures, like this is my favorite for headaches, this is my favorite for digestive stuff. We use this one for Zoe and Focus. And then the magazine on the bottom right, the living magazines. Those are so cheap. I think they're less than $1 each, and they even come, 10 in the class in a box. It's got a complete product guide at the end of that magazine. So if there's products, when you drop that off with some samples, you can actually circle the products that you dropped off, so they know exactly how much it costs, where it's harvested. They can read about recipes and stuff, and then samples. Being able to drop off those samples with that little sample card on how to use it. And then those little perfume samples, those are the sample trios that come from doTERRA. And those are, I think, 80 cents now. So you have 3 different oils that you give somebody, and it costs you 80 cents to put that seed in the ground.
And you definitely want to invest just a little extra money in your own labels.
Oh, that's true.
The labels you put out, like the Living magazine, you put the labels on there. They always have your name and information in association with what they're looking at. So it's a no-brainer. And then even on the cards, the sample packs, you still want to put a label on there so that everyone knows exactly where that came from. But more importantly, when they're ready to contact you for something else or to ask questions, they always have your information available right there. And the labels are very, very cheap. You have to make sure you have them in stock all the time because if you're going to do this for real, if you're going to do it as a professional, you're going to hand out samples. Samples and tools, as we're mentioning here, are so important, and you can't be cheap on handing these out because these are what are going to show people the benefits of, in this case, the oils or any product really, but the oils specifically, which obviously, in our opinion and the opinion of many, work fantastically well.
So now we go more to inviting, okay? Inviting is a big, big part of this, like I said. Professionals always have a class scheduled, and they know the class schedules that are online. They watch the classes online on our Facebook groups. They know what's coming up, and they become a great inviter. People hear the excitement in your voice. And when you call people and let them know why this class is special to them, you know, I'm doing this class. I was really thinking about you because it's about stress, and I know you're going through that thing with your husband, and I really, really, really want you to be here. I'm drop some things in your mailbox, and I hope this time works for you, you know? So especially important to invite the newest people on your team too. They need the education the most. So reaching out to people, even if you didn't enroll them, and asking them to come to your class for the training, you know? Emotions of inviting, I like this one, was detaching from the outcome, because people will get so sick and they'll get so disheartened because someone didn't come to their class, or someone questioned them, or someone rejected them. I'm like, you've got to detach yourself from that outcome. All you're doing is extending an invitation. The more invitations that you extend, the less attached you become with that outcome. You've got to be yourself. You're not trying to be somebody else. You know, you're bringing some passion to it. So people understand that in your voice when you call them. That's why I say that this works for calling people. We act as consultants, offering suggestions on how people can live a better life. And that comes with posture as well. So detaching yourself from outcome, being yourself, bringing some passion, and having strong posture. You know the oils work. It's just sharing them. It's explaining your testimony. Why do you think they're so powerful? That's a strong posture right there. Even for someone that is naturally introverted, you know, it is a really strong way to come to people. I've seen you completely change your posture because you're like, I know this Tri-East works. I know this works on my allergies. I know that deep blue works. I know those vitamins work.
Yeah, so from that standpoint, the strong posture can come from using the product, which again is just paramount. It's super important for you to be successful in this business. You've got to use your own products and be a testimony for the benefits of those products. I want to go back to detaching from the outcome there for the emotions of inviting. A lot of people are super fearful to even make an invitation because of that fear of rejection. The detaching from the outcome allows you to put that fear of rejection aside and invite just based on the fact, hey, I just want to throw this out there. This can be super helpful for you. To me, it doesn't matter if you say yes or no, but I'm going to give you this option. And it's the main way that you can get past your initial fear. A lot of people in this business, a lot of people we know, a lot of us, me personally, have been very afraid to ask people to an event, to look at a tool, any of those things. And the reason is you're fearful of rejection. You don't know what the potential outcome may be, so you're scared. But if you can detach yourself from the outcome, based maybe primarily on having a strong posture based on utilizing the product, then you can get past that initial fear and just move forward and just go crazy, go gangbusters.
So this is an 8-step invitation formula, okay? And I've read this, reread this, put it into practice, and I've actually decided to print what I normally would say in a conversation, especially with someone that I'm approaching out of the blue, and really give you something to gnaw on from a specifically doTERRA. Okay. Number 1 is be in a hurry. I just have a second. Would you fill in the blank? And then number 2 is compliment them. I really value your opinion about blah. Would you such and such? You're such an awesome volunteer, waitress, whatever it is. You're awesome. Would you look at a tool? Would you try a sample? I love how you nurture your child. I love how you mow your grass. I love how you talk so eloquently about Jesus. Whatever it is. Would you such and such? So your sincerity in complimenting them is the next level. And then number 3 is making the invitation. So it starts off with, would you be open to learning about natural options? There's a direct approach. There's a super indirect approach. There's all different approaches through pages 51 and through 56. So he spends 5 pages just on the approach. I ask people, what's going on in their body, or would you be open to natural health care, or have you heard of essential oils, or have you looked at natural options? And then number 4 is the if I blah, would you blah? So here's some examples. If I gave you something for your headaches, would you use it and share your experience? If I sent you a brochure and a sample, would you tell me what you thought? If I have a class next month, would you want to come? It's not would you come, it's would you want to come? If I tag you in a Facebook online class, would you watch it and give me your feedback? So it's not just would you watch it, it's I want to know what you think. I want to know your feedback. What spoke to you about the class? What spoke to you about the sample? How did it feel in your body? And then number 5 is getting a time commitment. So most amateurs totally avoid this. They don't want to pressure people. They just skim. They think, I won't do 5. I'll do the rest of them up to this, and then I just won't do 5, 6, or 7. I'll get off the phone. This is the difference between amateurs and professionals. Ask them, when would you have a chance to watch the online class? Can we talk on Friday next week? I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think about the sample. And then number 6 is to confirm the time commitment. So it's not just getting that one commitment. You're looking for a second commitment. You want people to know that you are committed to understanding, to having them understand what is going on with the oils. So professionals make sure to do this. So make sure you're doing this professionally. It's going to take you a while. Don't beat yourself up if you get scared, if you don't do this one step. Commit to getting better. That's what your first year is all about. It's taking those shots again and again and again. So you've asked the questions. Their answers made the appointment. So now I'm confirming it. So next Friday, you'll have about 10 days of progress. And that's normally what I say is I'm leading them again. So I've said Friday now twice. And then scheduling the next call. This step is so simple. I'm going to follow up and check on your progress and see what you think. What's a good time? What time is good for you? What's a good time to call you? And so they know that you're going to call them, and they're setting the appointment up for you. Okay. And number 8 is getting off the phone. Great. We'll talk then. I got to run. So many people make the appointment and then they unmake it by talking and talking and talking and talking. And I see this happen for myself. If I'm looking in the mirror, I see myself doing this after a class. I'll keep talking and talking and talking and talking. And then the next thing you know, it's 9:30. They're tired, exhausted, and I haven't asked them to do anything else. I'm not in a hurry. It's not urgent, and that's one thing I really enjoyed from watching one of our mentors. She would get off the phone. She'd be in a hurry. She had stuff to do. Oh, you want on my calendar? Yeah, I've got a 2 p.m. and a 6 p.m. What can you do? So the key isn't. The key is this isn't an appointment that you've set. It's an appointment that they have set. So it's on their time frame, and you put it in your planner. So this is the example of an 8-step invitation formula. Okay, this is just me. This is exactly how I would say it. You're going to say it completely different. And in the book, there are so many different approaches. There are people that you don't know. There are people that are really direct and they just want to get to the point. This is what I'm saying. This is a great example. So if you want to practice something, practice this. Hey, I'm running out the door, and I needed to talk with you real quick. Do you have a second?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So you've been so supportive of me, and you really have. And I really appreciate you so much. And I've started using some essential oils, and I use them all the time. And I think they would really work for your allergies and really work for your daughter's sleep. And would you be open to trying some samples and let me know your experiences?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, great. So if I sent you the samples and some research behind it, would you look at it? Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. So if I get them to you on Friday and then you use them through the weekend, you'd have a solid week for next week. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So I can check with you next Friday and find out what you liked.
Okay.
Awesome. So what time do you think I could call you next Friday?
3 p.m.
Okay, cool. So I'll call you on 3 p.m. next Friday, and you can tell me what you think about the allergy stuff, about the sleep stuff, and what's your address? And can I call you on this number? Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I got it. So I'll send you a few samples in the mail. I'll put directions on how to use them, and I'll check with you next Friday around
3 p.m.
3 p.m. And you can share your results.
Sounds good.
You're amazing. I gotta run. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks for calling.
So there's many variations to this script. That took about, I think it took 90 seconds from start to finish. I was timing it earlier, so that was about a minute and a half. And if I can think of how many times I've said something like this, and then just pop samples in the mail, it would astound you. He's my post office runner.
I can vouch for the number of samples.
It's so much fun. It's fun when you're a professional, right? Okay, so this is the next skill. It's learning to teach, and a lot of people get hung up on getting in front of people or not knowing enough info. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple because professionals, they use tools. They are not the message. They're the messenger. And doTERRA makes the most beautiful tools. Between the brochures on the far left that help it can be simple, the living magazine with all the product guides in the back and all the awesome articles, and then the buyer's guide. That buyer's guide is phenomenal. We're going to go through this a little bit. The living guide, the membership overview, sharing guide, and building guide. So when you learn how to teach, you're using class information, you're using class in a box. And I like that we're also going to highlight, the financial aspect as well. Teach them about the financial side of using doTERRA. Professionals, they use tools because they want themselves out of the message. You're the messenger, you're not the message. So this allows for duplication. You walk your people through the class sheets, samples, the brochures. You are their consultant to connect them with the tool. So they'll never point at you, they'll point at the tool. You'll never point at them, you'll point at the tool. So you're pointing at this, which is stone cold facts and research. You're pointing at this and saying, this will work. And then I went through my favorite tools.
And this point is actually a central point that he brings up over and over again in the book, because he feels that if you are presenting yourself as the expert, then that is negative in a few different ways. One of which is that you can't duplicate that to the next person, because the next person is probably not going to be an expert. And so they say, oh, well, I cannot do what he just did. I can't present that same way to someone else. So I don't want to do this business because I'll never be the kind of expert he is. So you don't ever want to present yourself as the expert, because you basically tell people, hey, this is not duplicatable. The other part of it is that you want to take yourself out of the equation. Again, he says it many times throughout the book in different ways, you're not the message, you are the messenger. All you're trying to do is connect the people with tools that can explain exactly what the company can do, what the products do, how to move forward with the compensation plan, all that good stuff. So you want to give them enough information, but you don't want to present yourself as the expert. And that again is one of the central things to being a professional in this business, according to Eric Worre, is that you want to take yourself out of the equation as often as possible.
And I mean, if I'm honest and looking in the mirror, I know that our business has been slower because I have taught off sheet. I'll go into stories and then people come up to me afterwards and they say, that was amazing. And I know that I have made something that's not really duplicatable, and it intimidates people from starting. I tell people if they feel intimidated, one of the best ways is to do it one-on-one. And I love to go to people's houses and talk with them about oils. It's a slower growth. It's very personal. They ask a lot of personal questions, and I like that. It also takes that stigma down of having so many people looking at you, which can really make people's face go red. And then it also gives you time to really practice and get to know them. And I like going to their house because they have nowhere to go. I know this sounds strange, but if they come to my house, they're surrounded by a lot of different people. If I go to their house, they're in their environment. They're with their kids. I can see what's going on in their lives, and I can make more suggestions. How they're cleaning their apples and their peppers. I can make them bottles and take and leave with them to try. So I kind of figure out what's going on in their daily life and can offer, as a consultant, I can offer some affordable, easy, natural solutions.
And those one-on-ones can harken back to one of the initial points, which was to not try to be the expert, but to show them, hey, I'm bringing some tools with me. This is going to be hugely helpful. Let's just take a look at this stuff. And also, you're establishing a relationship with them, which is, again, something that is critical to being able to continue growing with them in the business side of the relationship as well.
I agree. So now we're going to go to the teaching part is the presenting to groups. So preparation is key. A lot of people will say, how did you present to groups? And I didn't for months. I let my upline teach my classes. Nick, thank you. However, I remember he was out of town once and he said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I guess I'm going to teach the class. And I fretted and prepared and prepared and prepared. And it's pretty cool because if you are a teacher, I think about like a school teacher, your brother's a school teacher, and you teach 4 or 5 classes every single day, and they're on different subjects every single day. So you're sitting in front of people. With a doTERRA class, you are basically teaching the same 10 oils or 5 oils every single time. You're teaching basics. A lot of the classes that I've taught over the last 3 years are basics classes. And so I don't have to prepare very much anymore. I have to, all I do is actively listen more, because people are going to give you clues all throughout the class, either with their body language. It's a really interesting place to be. I tell people though, presenting to groups, preparation is key. So just reading over the class materials, understanding how you're going to flow, start with your story is what Eric Worre says. It needs to be short and effective. I've coached people for many, many years on having a 30-second version of your story and having a 3-minute version of your story. 3-minute is usually something that I give in class, and a 30-second version is happening in the grocery store line. Oh, really? What do you do? Oh, really? Why are you here at, 11 o'clock in the morning, in your workout clothes? So having those two versions of your story, a short one and a longer one, and they have 4 elements to them: your background, and things that you didn't like about your background, things that kept you away from family, or things that you wish you would have been doing instead. And then how doTERRA came to your rescue. And then rescue is a strong word. You can use that however you choose. It's how doTERRA has changed you, has changed your family dynamically. And then how you feel when you use your oils and your supplements. So speaking into the testimony, and that becomes part of your story. So learning how to tell your story so that people want to hear more. A lot of people will tell their story and I'm just a snooze. I'm just totally asleep. And you guys that know me really well, that work with me on a weekly basis, I'm going to tell you like it is. So several of you have heard me tell you, you need to really work on this story because it's not compelling. And mine wasn't either when I first got started. I wrote it down. I still have my original story right here. because I realized I was missing out on so much of you and so much of Zoe by being at my desk from 8 to 8, from traveling all those hours, 2-3 weeks in Hong Kong, 6 days in Costco in Seattle. I missed so much, just gigantic portions of it were just gone. So my story has evolved over time, and knowing now the financial benefits that doTERRA has provided us really gives me, and you can always point to someone else, but as you're starting to really understand your story, you're pointing to what is actually in your heart. And then follow-up. Follow-up is skill number 4. And if you guys haven't heard me talk about follow-up, it's the big F you, If follow-up is king. The fortune is there. So follow-up is doing what you said you're going to do. And amateurs, they don't follow up. They really don't. I see it again and again and again. Hey, what happened to that girl? What happened to the girl we met the other day? Oh, I don't know. Why did we go to meet her if you're not going to follow up? So people respect a person who does what they say they're going to do. And when you become a professional, this is what I love. You're always asking for that next meeting. You're always asking for that next exposure, So when are we going to see you again? So when is it? When can we get together again? When's the next thing? Because that's what professionals do. They anticipate so they can plan out. So they're actually communicating with their person right there. There's an expectation. Dude, they're going to call me. So when the phone rings, it's not like, why is Ava calling me? She said she was going to call me, so she's just doing what she said, right? So the only reason to have an exposure is to set up the next exposure, right? The only reason to have a meeting is to have another meeting. The only reason to have a class to have another class. Don't try to secure a sale right away. Keep the process alive by setting up the next exposure until they make a decision. It's not your decision. It's theirs. It's on their time frame. People are constantly distracted, though, and it's important to keep their interest. So this is what I love, is at the very bottom, the condensing the exposures for better results. Amateurs will take a long time, if they even bother to call them back. So it takes 4 to 6 exposures on average for a person to join, and it's hard to educate someone from one experience. And it helps to build relationship and strengthen relationships by having multiple exposures. They're like, oh, hey, I love her, she's cool. Oh my gosh, Loretta, she's so cool too. So they're getting to know us, and I think that is really cool. We had a lady in the car with us traveling on Friday night. This just happened, and lady had never ever had a monthly order. She just ordered, what she wanted when she wanted it. And that was Friday. And by Sunday, yesterday, she actually wanted to go to convention. And you know why? Because she saw who we were. She spent time with us. It was exposure after exposure. We were just really condensed because we were in the car on a road trip, And she saw it in the class too. So it's getting with people. It's getting it, and a lot of people say, I don't have time. Well, guess what? That's exactly why you're doing what you're doing. You've got to allow time. You've got to make time to get better. You've got to make time for the people in your life. All right, skill 5, learn how to help your people become customers or advocates. So the key to success is having good posture and asking good questions. You're helping them to make a decision on their timing. Posture means the way that you carry yourself, your words, your actions will help your people feel more confident about joining doTERRA. Your intention is to educate it and get them to a level of understanding. So be prepared, right? Have your enrollment forms, right? Have your buyer's guides. I love this buyer's guide because it has a price list in it and has all of the enrollment kits. It walks them through exactly what they want to do, if they want to do retail or wholesale. And then it's got an agreement in the back, an enrollment form. So always have your enrollment forms. If you don't have an enrollment form with you, just have your iPad with you, or your tablet of some sort. You can even enroll them on your phone. There's a doTERRA app that's available for $1.99, and it is worth every penny. You can manage your LRP. You can enroll people right there on your tablet or your phone. It's really slick. And then I love what we explained before. You must emotionally detach from the outcome. That being said, for the invite, and that being said for helping them as well. They're going to decide what's right for their family at that moment. It changes all the time. So assume everyone will enroll, period. And this is a big thing for me. I listen to Teresa Harding, and she talks about the psychology of our words. And she says that we are assuming the sale from the very beginning because the products work. You know, when she holds up a book, she says the big questions are in here: cancer, diabetes, all these big questions that you got, they're in this book. And so she's actually saying to them, you know, you're assuming that they are buying, you're assuming that they're enrolling from the very beginning. And I think that's posture, you know, for sure. And then you're promoting our awesome team. They get you. Your person gets you. Your person gets me. Your person gets Jack. They get all of the cool people on our team. We do so many fun things together all throughout the year, and they're part of that. They're part of that momentum. And they get all of the online Facebook classes. I mean, they get an entire library of cool people that are all around them. We're all going virtual, you know, all the time. I have more video meetings than I've ever had in my life right now, and I can only see that increasing just because that's where business is going, you know. So learning to help your people is you are their guide, and you're asking them lots and lots of questions, right? It's not just talking. You're asking them a lot of questions. So what are their health concerns? What do they want to work on first? What's going on with their kids? What's going on with their husband? So you're really starting to write things down. And that's what I really love about the class in a box, is there's space to just write down what their health concerns are. And we had that happen on Friday's class. I went through and I walked people through exactly what I would recommend. And then we went to the book and talked about it. You know, so you can always point to the book. You don't have to be the expert. Discussing the retail, you know, which is Amazon versus wholesale, getting a 25% discount. Making sure that they understand that difference, making sure if they're online and they're on your website, that they understand the difference between the retail and wholesale, that they're getting a 25% discount. And then making sure to explain the enrollment kits. They get a free wholesale membership if they do an enrollment kit, and they save some money. So you're walking them through that, you know, based on their needs. And I love to start with the natural solution kit, throwing that out there, because Nick has taught me over the years that if you start with the family essentials kit, if you start with that basic kit, you know, that travel size kit, you have nowhere to go. You know, if you start with the natural solution kit and you really explain to them the benefits and the value of the natural solution kit, that they get $100 of free product with their LRP the next month, that they're saving $86, they're getting that awesome diffuser right there. Got that boy up. I love my little Mercedes-Benz and diffusers. We're a diffuser family.
This is the best one.
I know. I love that one. The Aroma Light. And it comes in the natural solution kit. So, and then ask them if they're open to sharing the oils at some point with someone else. You know, discuss being a wholesale customer versus a wellness advocate. There's no cost difference to them. It's just inputting their social security number. That's the only difference. And they can upgrade anytime. You know, they can always become a wellness advocate if they're a wholesale customer. So there's no price difference. All it takes is their input of their social security number. So if you feel like they need more information at this point, just guide them to the next exposure that will help them the most. Maybe it's an online class. Maybe they just want to meet for coffee again. Maybe they want to meet with me. You know, you never know what their next exposure is until you talk with them, and you can kind of recommend what you think they need. Now we move to skill 6 out of 7. Okay, so stick with us here. Learning to coach your customers and your advocates. So membership overviews really become the biggest part, because they've enrolled because you've helped them. Now you're going to coach them through this. So this is the next level. These last 2 skills are where you really differentiate yourself as far as going from amateur to professional. You know, you can wing it when you teach. When you learn to coach, you're going to another level. And I tell people coaching is really easy. It is the commitment to do membership overviews with customers and builders. And that creates, the membership overviews create long-term customers and builders. They're educated. They know what an LRP is. They understand what they're, it's right here. They understand exactly what you're trying to explain to them. So professionals go through membership overviews with their new people. They don't make the mistake of spending all the time and effort of enrolling your person and then leaving them to figure out everything on their own. So membership overviews show them how to log into their doTERRA account. They explain the loyalty reward program and all the awesome free stuff. They set out the 3 main health goals that you want, that they want for themselves over the next 90 days. And you mentor them through this. You walk them through this. I set up little reminders in my calendar as I'm walking them through their membership overview, because I want to remind, call Allison, you know, in 3 weeks, put it down on my calendar, check on her vitamin regimen, see what she's liking about her vitamins. And so then it coaches them also through the #1 product of the company, the Lifelong Vitality Vitamins. Amazing. And it really gives you a space to talk about those vitamins. If you hadn't had a chance in class or one-on-one, it's a great time to really sit down and talk with them. And it introduces them to weight loss side of doTERRA, the energy side, inflammation, emotional support, cleansing, immunity boosting on the back. And then finally, my favorite part right here, the very, very last question. This is the most important question of the entire membership overview. Are you open to the idea of creating an income with doTERRA? If you can learn that question and do membership overviews, your team will flourish. All right. Do a new share. Okay, so that was skill 6. Oops. All right, now we're going to go to learning the skill 7. It's promotion. So learning how to promote your classes and learning how to promote events. Classes make money, period. So all professionals use events as a cornerstone of their business. Just make no mistake about that. Amateurs, they will do one-on-ones. Professionals, they use events as the cornerstone of their business, okay? That is how you create long-term residual income. You allow people to focus solely on doTERRA. You gain strength from your knowledge you learn in the classes and the testimonies that come out from the classes. You can overcome doubts and limitations on the spot, and it validates your decision to get involved with doTERRA, which is social proof everybody can see. And then then your people have the proof around them. So it's pretty simple. The more people from your group that attend classes, the more success you will have.
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the points up there, allow your people to focus solely on doTERRA. You take away all the distractions of their family, you know, picking up the kids from school, of all these things, and you allow them to focus solely on it, and they can then see not only the benefits of the products, but the benefits of the company and the business. So you're really giving them a chance to see in depth what their life could be like, which is super powerful. Fantastic.
All right, skill 7 goes on to say that big decisions happen at big events. So personally being more committed than anyone else to attending the annual doTERRA Global Convention. It happens in September every single year. This year it's happening in 10 weeks from now. It's September 7th, 8th, and 9th. If you're watching this video, it's already passed. Look for the next September. Make sure to mark your calendar. And then investing in your professional training, becoming a pro, right? Committing to growing your business knowledge. I think I've always wanted to go see Eric Worre, and it just so happened he was with Sir Richard Branson and Tony Robbins, and they all were such different speakers, and they had 20 of their buddies with them, you know. we took notes for 3 days and just absolutely loved it. It changed the trajectory of our team, of our business, and we were so committed from that. And I encourage everybody to invest. If you're going to spend any time in this, invest in being a professional in it. And that means going to the trainings. It's not just reading the books, it's experiencing it with someone, with your team, you know, or you can go on your own. There are other events besides GoPro. I've been looking at mastermind training, and that happens in Orlando. And there's several different events. There's a women's GoPro that happens in Vegas too. So I definitely want to make space for that and do that. So keep going to the big events. This is what I love, is that I fell in love with network marketing at a big event. It was in Vegas. And I came back and I realized that what they had said is you never, ever, ever miss an event. You'll outlast every single person. Those people who won't come back, right? You'll be a top earner because you keep going to the events. It's that simple. And when I look around at all the people in doTERRA, when we go to the conventions, and I see all of the blue diamonds there and the presidential diamonds, they never, ever missed an event. If you asked them, they probably never, either the husband or the wife, they never missed an event, because there are a lot of couples out there in doTERRA that do it together. Because they found such a strong voice. Jack and I have, you know, different approaches. We have different souls, and so we bring different parts to the business. I think that's really a nice compliment that happens with doTERRA. Keep going to the big events. So, like I said, you grow the number of people on your team that attend with you, promoting. You never just announce it. You're promoting. Hey, are you going to this? Hey, you want to come with me? That's what's happening right now with our Road to Convention. And being in constant promote. You're always promoting for the next thing. And after the annual global convention, I'll promote for the regional summits that come out of that. So I'm constantly promoting to the next thing, especially as we bring in more and more new people, constantly promoting to them. So be a pro promoter.
You know, back to that slide, being a pro promoter, Eric Worre himself has made over $15 million in commissions in the network marketing field in his time there. So he's obviously very, very knowledgeable about what it takes to be a professional, to be successful in that business. Being a pro promoter is something that he highlights in the book, and it kind of harkens back to the top point there, which is to personally be more committed than anyone else to attending the annual convention. When people on your team see how committed you are, you will then raise their level of awareness and their desire to go. And then pretty soon you will see them promoting, not just announcing, but promoting to their people to come with you as well. And pretty soon you're getting blocks of hotel rooms. You are having more fun. You're having more fun than you ever imagined a business convention could be, because you're getting people that are excited and happy, and it's so amazing to see other people catch on fire in this business. When it happens on our team, every single time I have a huge smile on my face, and I'm so proud of the people who step up and take the next step. It's fantastic.
So yeah, deciding to become a professional. This is the event that I was talking about. This year it's going to be Tony Robbins and Pitbull. Mr. Worldwide. It's in Las Vegas at the Convention Center. We already have a block of rooms available or reserved for our team, and it's November 16th, 17th, and 18th. So get to Vegas. Get there. It is worth it. It is so worth it. Come with us. So there's like I said, there's 3 categories of network marketing. Decide if you're going to be a poser, right? If you're going to be an amateur, or if you're going to be a professional. It takes practice and consistency. Learning those 7 professional skills. This is all in summary. And then deciding that you're going to be a professional. Knowing that it's 1 year to be competent, right? It's another 2 years on top of that. So 3 years totally in network marketing to go full time. And that was right about the time I think we looked at it. And then in 5 years, right is where we're at right now, and we're six-figure earners right now as platinums at doTERRA. So knowing that we've got 2 more years going on to becoming an expert and really writing our own ticket, and we're starting to really think even bigger and bigger and bigger. So this is Eric Worre. This is his cute wife. These are their 5 children, and as you can see, he's a big family man, and they travel the world together. They have a lot of fun. And he says, the personal development without action becomes useless. So get out of your head and get into action. That is his call to action. So I would recommend to get to convention, get your training set up, reserve your money and reserve your time for those big rocks, and making sure that you're committing to the skills. It's going to take time. You know, you are going to fall, you're going to fail, and guess what? It's going to get better and better and better. It's not really ever failure, it's learning, you know? So from our house to wherever you're hearing this, please know that we are committed to your development, and we're committed through our actions to get you there. And if you're in need of personal development, if you're in need of self-training, I would choose to use the books, to ask the questions, talk with the person who enrolled you, reach out to me, reach out to Jack. We are here to coach you and to love on you, and to get you to a pro level. So thank you very much for joining us. This is our first webcast together, and God bless.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.